Hi, I'm Angelina.
And I'm Juliana.
And we're from Care to Create.
Today, we were volunteering at Owl's Head Park.
And interviewing Susan Francis, the community liaison. Hi. Thank you, Susan, for allowing us to volunteer at Owl's Head Park today and interview you. So, how did you get involved with Owl's Head Park?
I actually started in 2013 with the Owl's Head Park Horticulture Group, but when they disbanded in 2019, I started my own group, the Owl's Head Park Volunteers. So that's how this all started.
Wow, okay. What are some of the most common tasks that volunteers help with in the park?
The spreading the mulch. That helps in managing the soil erosion. As soil, when it rains, the soil comes running down the hill. So it's really important that students, volunteers, spread the mulch mix it into the soil. That helps keep the soil inside the park. And so that way it doesn't fall into the sidewalk or the walking paths. Also around the trees. We want to spread mulch, have rings around the trees. That will help the roots get water because when it rains, the wood chips absorb the rainwater and it keeps the roots of the tree moist and we don't end up losing our trees to them being dried up and dying.
Yes. So how does the park benefit from having volunteers?
Well, by having volunteers to help us with the mulch, to help us planting, we also do planting, that also holds in the soil. With volunteers doing that, we're able to keep the park beautiful, we're able to keep our trees, which everybody loves and adores.
Yes.
We're able to keep the peace, it doesn't look like a cemetery, it has nice stuff in it, nice greenery, and that all helps with the planting and the mulching, which is really significant.
This is a gorgeous park.
Good.
So, can you tell me about any recent projects or initiatives that volunteers have undertaken in the park?
Well, the most recent one is the Lily Garden, which is right behind you, and this helped a lot with the soil erosion here on 68th Street. With all the soil, when it rained, all the soil was running into the sidewalk and actually into the street. So we planted this Lily Garden. It also has asters in it, has hydrangeas in it, has a couple of other different plants in it, and these plants, along with the mulch, hold the soil into the park. So that way the garden stays maintained and nothing runs out into the street or the sidewalk.
So it's mostly flowers that are in the Lily Garden.
Yeah, especially bulbs. Students and volunteers love, it's easy to plant any kind of bulbs. Daffodil bulbs, crocus bulbs, they always come back each year. Tulip bulbs, iris bulbs,
Wow.
that is, yes, if you want to do any kind of planting, that's the easiest, yeah.
So how do you work with the community to ensure that the park meets their needs and interests?
Well, I do outreach through, we partner with City Parks Foundation, Partnership for Parks, and New York City Parks also. All three organizations, they have a list on their websites of volunteer dates for events. And so they list our volunteer dates, and that's how we get a bulk of our volunteers.
What are some of the biggest challenges facing the park currently, and how are you addressing them?
The soil erosion, how we're addressing it, is just getting as much mulch as possible and getting it spread throughout the park. As today, as you witnessed with the Parks Department with the Gator helps us, the students or volunteers can load up buckets or the leaf bags with mulch. The Parks Department brings the Gator and they can spread it anywhere in the park. They could transport that mulch any place in the park. That helps a lot.
What message do you have for the community about the importance of preserving and supporting Owl's Head Park?
Well, if you want to keep it beautiful, you want a nice place to visit, yes, you want to be able to support the park and support anybody who has these greening efforts like our group. Yes, to maintain it.
What kind of animals can we see in Owl's Head Park?
Well, I could just tell you the animals I see. I've seen possum, squirrels, and every kind of bird practically, but you have to look up to find the birds. And you can even find birds' nests if you look up. Sometimes you'll find the birds' nests inside the trees.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. How can we help keep the park clean and safe for everyone?
Well, the way you keep it clean is by, you can either join another friends group or you can start your own friends group and get permission through Partnership for Parks. And the way to do that is you find out who your coordinator is. I gave you the website for Partnership for Parks. You find your coordinator. They will find one for you for this area. And you can just start, if you want to start, just picking up the garbage, putting it in garbage bags, leaving them at receptacles. That's one way to keep the park clean. Another way, of course, again, is spreading the mulch, raking the leaves. Those are all cleaning projects for us. The others are horticulture, which is planting. Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Can we volunteer as a group with our friends and families?
Yes, yes. But if you want stuff like tools from the Parks Department, you need to sign up with Partnership for Parks, yes. And if you want grants also, a lot of times they want to know that you're working with like New York City Parks Department. And the way to do that is the liaison with the Parks Department is Partnership for Parks.
What are some fun events or activities that happen in the park throughout the year?
So one event we have was last weekend. We had Viking Fest over here, and that happens in May each year. And then we have, I think, Blissstock, which is a concert, and that happens in September. And then there's the Shakespeare Festival that happens at the ending of August. Those are all up on top of the hill.
Wow, those all sound really fun. What kind of plants and trees are in the park, and are they all native to the area?
I don't know if they're all native. I just know some of the trees and some of the, I know the plants that we planted, like the lily garden behind you, the bulbs, daffodils, tulips, crocus, snowdrops we've planted, iris bulbs we've planted, yeah. Stuff like hydrangeas we've planted. I don't know that they're native, but they do well. Hostas do really well in this soil. And then the trees that we have different kinds of trees. We have oak trees, and that you have to look up. There's a tree map. I could send you the link, because you could find what trees are here. But we have oak trees, we have maple trees, we have magnolia trees, serviceberry, the bush that I showed you. The serviceberry is actually a small tree, but it passes off as a bush. As a volunteer group, you're not allowed to plant trees, but you can pass off small trees, like cherry trees, and dogwood is the other kind. They just really look like bushes.
The nature here is really amazing. Is there a place in the park where we can have a picnic or play sports?
Yes. Well, you can picnic any place in the park. Again, if you have 20 or more people, you need a special events permit through the Parks Department, and you go onto the website to go into contacts, and they'll tell you how to get your permit for that. The other thing is there's picnic tables by the spray shower. You could use the picnic tables if you want to have a picnic. And also at the top of the hill is an open area for seating. There's trees up there, and that's a nice area also to have a picnic, but no barbecuing. All right. They don't want open fires in the park.
Yes, that makes sense, yes. Are there any special rules or guidelines we should follow when visiting the park?
Well, the special rules and guidelines, not our rules, but the Parks Department, and that you'd have to go on the website to find out what their rules are. But again, there's no barbecuing, no kind of smoking, open fires in the park.
Yeah, that would destroy this beautiful nature that's around here.
Yeah.
That would be really sad. Lastly, what advice do you have for kids who want to get involved with protecting and preserving our local parks?
The way to get involved, again, is going through Partnership for Parks. They have their list of events, volunteer events. That's a good way. Or if you know of a local friends group of a park, you can join them and inquire with them. But yeah, the big ones are City Parks Foundation, New York Parks Department, and Partnership for Parks.
Wow. Well, thank you for allowing us to interview you and taking the time to meet with us to create this informative video.